Yo, what's the word, Chad? How y'all doing today? Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. What's going on today? Today is an amazing day, I must admit. Hey, check me out. Welcome back to the Fungal Jungle. It's your friendly neighborhood mushroom man. It's your boy Max Shroom, and we back in the building. Best believe it. We back like we never left, and it's gonna be an amazing stream. Best believe. So today I got a couple videos lined up for you guys. You know, this Sora 2 thing is moving way faster than I ever thought it would, and I'm really just interested with what they're doing, and like, it's not even how they're altering the things that we might perceive as like reality, but they're they're like truly eliminating the use of like animators, like animation teams, things like Pixar and Disney, where people used to have teams of like 200 300 animators to like complete a movie like Toy Story or something like that. Now can be done with Sora 2 within about 5 minutes. So without further much ado, we're about to get into these videos. Best believe that it's not for the faint of heart. It might get a little wicked, but you know, we're gonna keep it a little lighthearted today. Yesterday we had a pretty rough day dealing with the Hell case, but yeah, today we gonna get right into these videos, and hopefully it shouldn't get that dark. So with that being said, chat, we're gonna jump right into it.
From Pixar Studios.
Yo, let me talk it
This
in.
spring, one spin cycle goes a little too far.
Holy hell. One thing at a time, please. All right, so check me out. Check me out. What the hell? Reaction. This is the one. All right, so here we have it, chat. Here we go. This is Unhinged Sora 2 AI Disney trailers. Oh my god. I don't know where this is going, but I feel like I've seen this before.
From Pixar Studios.
Uh-oh, I'm stuck.
This spring, one spin cycle goes a little too far.
Hang on, I got this.
Sometimes getting
bro.
stuck brings family closer.
Told you I'd fix it.
Stuck when life's a mess. Laugh.
From Pixar Studios, when hope fades, kindness arrives. Sometimes, all it takes is a single act of care.
All she needs is some Dickens cider.
Love
Bro,
can heal more than
what?
we think.
Yo!
From Pixar Studios this fall,
I can handle it.
sometimes moving in means opening up. New friends, new beginnings, new
See,
neighbor.
not the couch,
Kindness
bro.
lives next door.
Yeah, I knew this is
From
where they were
Pixar
going with this
Studios,
stuff.
one ride can change everything.
I'm so sorry. I don't have any cash.
Sometimes mistakes lead to unexpected kindness.
Don't worry.
Fake Taxi, coming soon.
From Pixar Studios, one team, one challenge, zero nuts. Every year, he failed. But this
Bro,
year,
what did we
things
watch?
will
What
be
is
different.
this?
I will succeed.
Discipline, courage, and pure willpower. No Nut November.
From Pixar Studios, this winter, one man is ready to set things straight.
Feels incredible.
Every adjustment brings them closer to relief. He won't stop until every back is cracked. Cracking minors.
Bro,
Coming-
what? What the hell? Nah, bro. No. What the fuck? This is not what we on,
Soon.
bro.
Pixar Studios. This summer,
Bro,
one
what
gift
the?
brings endless joy. When
What is
imagination runs wild, even lunch becomes an adventure.
Wait for me!
Dildo. Big dreams come in funny shapes.
From Pixar Studios, this fall, teamwork gets a little nutty. When the odds are big, these two go bigger. Busting a nut. Teamwork
Bro, come
never tasted
on!
so sweet.
Come
Get
on.
ready.
Are you serious?
This summer, the biggest movie of the year. Diddy Party!
You gotta be kidding me, Chad.
Pixar-
Come on now, bro. Are these all like freaky? Like, come on.
Studios. This spring, everything's about to change. When milk rains down, only the brave will stay dry.
Fly high or die wet!
Cision Pecs.
I don't even know what this means, G. I don't even know what this freaking means, bro. What is this?
Jizz? Like cum shot?
I don't even get the joke, bro.
Coming soon.
From Pixar Studios. This summer, a simple discovery becomes something magical.
Bro.
When kindness crosses walls, friendship finds a way.
See you tomorrow, little one.
Glory hole. Even the smallest connection can mean the...
From Pixar Studios. This Halloween, not every sound is in your head.
It's just the wind, sweetie.
Some sounds never stop.
Bro.
In a little home in the...
That's actually funny. That's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Like a children's story, like a children's horror story, and you think you're hearing... Oh shit. That's low-key kind of funny. All right, I'll give it to you. That's funny.
Middle of nowhere.
We'll figure it out.
Two cousins and a baby learn that love
What
is
the
stronger
hell?
than luck.
Everything stays in the family.
Through every challenge, they hold on to what matters most. Cousins. Home is who you hold on to.
From Pixar Studios.
Why are all of these like so freaky, bro? I don't understand it. Like,
What the fuck is this?
I truly can't wrap my head around why all of these have like freaky connotations to them.
Summer, a puzzling smell. Everywhere she goes.
Smells fishy?
Until
Oh,
the
what?
truth is finally revealed.
That explains it.
Something fishy. A real
Yo,
good laugh.
come on, guys.
Pixar
Lock,
Studios.
all right, lock in. I don't know.
What is this?
I don't know who's making this stuff on Sora 2, but like for real, y'all need to truly lock in. Y'all need to lock in and like truly just read a book. Read a freaking book, chat. Like I don't know what the hell.
Come here, little fuck!
I don't know what this guy's on. Like I don't know if he's like on one website and he's just like copy and pasting stuff into Sora 2. Like,
What the fuck?
I can't call it, bro. I truly can't call it. This is weird. But like you know what? If this is what you're gonna do with this type of technology, this isn't the worst thing in the world. I will say that. That's all I got to say.
What's the joke exactly?
I don't know what the joke is, to be completely honest. I just don't think this is like this is also the reason why aliens don't truly contact us. This is what we do when we get like further in our like technological advances. This is what we decide to do with it. This is why we'll never have a intergalactic treaty with any aliens, because they see what we're doing with our like with our advanced technology, bro. They never want to be friends with us, bro. They think we're weird. That's what the aliens think.
This summer, you've got this. One team, dedicated to greatness, ready to take on the world.
Go Predators!
Predator.
Bro, what the hell?
Training. Triumph.
All right.
From Pixar Studios. This summer,
Keep working.
one team working hard while chasing his dreams.
I'll make it.
No challenge too big, no dream too far. Fields, working today.
Bro, what the hell was that? You know, all right, WV, I'm not even gonna lie. You know, as weird as it might seem, you know, this is what we got. So, all right, jumping inside next video. This is another Sora joint. Diabolical Sora 2 Disney movie trailers. Chat, I don't think anything could actually beat what we just seen as far as like diabolical goes, but you know, here we have this video. So I don't know. Let's get right into it.
What is that? Sounds like applause from Mom and Dad's room? Are they practicing something?
Only one way to find out.
This holiday season, Tyrone and his family are back for one more score.
All right, crew, I'll sweep in 3, 2, let's loot! Whoa, that's a lot of...
Bro, come on!
Buckle up, baby girl! Victory.
Canada, here we come!
It's
was meant to be. This is my destiny.
Let's go, boys!
Welcome to Canada. In theaters, November 19th.
That's a little funny. I heard they have a pretty huge Middle Eastern population. I don't know. I don't. That's all I know.
Miller had nothing left to lose.
Rent's late again. Great.
Until she found something everyone wanted.
Bro, she's jarring up the farts, bro. Ain't no way in hell she going crazy off the fart money. She giving people jars of
Skip it up and that up.
And no one expected.
Another shipment for Jar Fart?
You make me feel so confident, even though you hurt my nose sometimes.
Vamos, Paco. Look at this place.
I don't know how you do it, Booger Sugar, but when I'm with you, I feel unstoppable. Hey, can I buy you a drink?
She's not interested.
This summer, meet the fridge protecting the snacks.
Whoa! Oh my God! Not the fridge protecting the snacks. I thought Booger Sugar was crazy. Oh my God. Gee, this is insanity, Chad. Like, bro, the fridge protecting the snacks, G. This is hilarious. I'm sorry. This is.
I don't know if there's a place for me.
There's a place for everyone in this world.
It's perfect.
At Millridge Middle School, Ben knows he's different, but that hasn't stopped his heart.
She drew me a cape. That's awesome.
From Disney and Pixar comes a story about courage, friendship, and the...
Bro, he got Down syndrome and he like a girl, bro. Are you serious? We gotta do better, Chad. We honestly got
picture you can't...
They say the food stamps end November 1st.
This November.
They expect me to get a job now?
Hey, who made this? The goddamn food stamps damn near did end November 1st. Bro, what the hell? They know the future too?
Maybe it's time, babe. You fix everything in this house. Does this mean no more Pizza Fridays?
Oh, not the pizza.
Only in...
Babe, since the refund's hidden, think you can spot me a new pair of shoes?
You're impossible, Daquan. We'll see.
I'm Bonnie Blue, and I'm out of my mind.
This time, she invited them all.
1,000 of my closest equine friends.
And they're arriving all at once.
Who knew doors were optional?
They're arriving all at once is crazy.
Bonnie Blue 2. In a world where first impressions decide futures. Is this the phone? Is this the phone? Tyrone learned the hard way.
A job. Hey, shouts out to my boy Rye, man. Shouts out to Blue Rye, G.
Looking at me that sometimes the scariest thing out there is filling in the blank.
You're doing amazing, Kate. Almost there.
I can't believe this is real.
Me neither. I see him.
With every new life comes a new story. This fall, Disney and Pixar proudly present
I'm stuck.
a story about overcoming adversity
Stepson, can you come help me?
and finding unusual connections.
Your stepmom, let me try something.
Perfect crunch. Come on, all right, this is just
A spark of genius.
this is just racist, bro. This is weird and racist. Come on. Come on. Get up, bro. Come on. You're not eating chicken underneath a tree and had an Isaac Newton moment where a freaking watermelon dropped on your head, bro. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
From anywhere.
A equals FC squared.
This spring, discover KFC Square. Only in She thought it was just a ride home.
I don't have enough. I'm so sorry.
But when the meter stopped, her night took a turn.
What are you doing?
A stranger behind the wheel. A promise she didn't expect.
Mama, where's my dad?
He went to get milk a long time ago, and he didn't come back.
And I'll find him.
This spring, one tiny hero sets out on a big journey.
Excuse me, have you seen this man?
Gee, what? Are we serious at this point, chat?
Dads, I like boys.
What? No way.
I'll find him.
This spring, one tiny hero sets out on a big journey.
Excuse me, have you seen this man?
Dads, I like boys.
What? No way. No daughter of mine is going to be straight.
I just want to get my cheeks clapped.
Brave enough to chew sausages.
I think it's crazy. It's two men living in their household and they still got the fire, the smoke detector beeping, bro. What's that about? I think that's I don't know. That's silly as hell.
Over scissors. Default setting 2.
I'm tired of how Andy
Default
plays with me.
setting?
It's starting to hurt. I think I need to
Bro,
find someone
what?
else. We should go on an adventure.
From the same studio that brought you Toy Story.
I'm in.
typical men trying to harass me.
Miss Harper, your account has been deactivated effective immediately.
Gee! Oh my God! Yeah, no. Whoever is doing this is like right up to date with current stuff. I don't know if you guys follow this story, but okay. So apparently there was this DoorDash worker that like kind of she wound up reporting the customer because he was in eye shot of the doorway naked. Well, they say he was sleeping and she called it SA. So she got super upset that they suspended her account and ultimately terminated her account permanently. Yeah, she spazzed out, completely believing that she was the victim, even though he had the right to be naked in his own home. Come to find out, it seemed like she was just kind of trying too hard, and yeah, it didn't necessarily go the way she expected it to go. And I feel like, yeah, this is a reflection of that. Oh my God, whoever is making these, like, they're pretty caught up, man. I will say that.
Toy Story.
I'm in. Typical men trying to harass me.
Miss Harper, your account has been deactivated effective immediately.
I'm the victim!
You know what I love about a campus like this? Every voice has a spot in the song. Counting or not counting gang violence. Whoa! Guess I needed a cool down. Nice shot, buddy.
Adam, I'm pregnant.
We're having a baby?
We are, but he's not biologically yours. The father isn't in our lives, and he can't be found. I want to raise this baby with you, if you'll have us.
Everywhere she goes,
Ew, that stinks.
people notice something funky.
Maybe it's not about hiding it. Maybe it's about finding someone who doesn't mind.
For Maya, love isn't in the air.
She hasn't eaten in days.
Somebody's got to help her. I think I can. All she needs is some Dickens cider.
It's wonderful.
Welcome back, Dickens Cider.
Need a lift?
From Disney and Pixar comes the story of a man who's always there.
Everybody needs a neighbor, kid.
Mo Lester, helping
Come
out
on!
coming this summer. From Disney and Pixar.
Gee, lock in, Chad. Lock in,
Then
bro.
let's go
What are we
find
doing
it.
Comes a journey
What
to
is
bring
this?
hope.
We did it!
Finding water. He's had
Finding
one
water?
too many. But tonight, he's about to discover his real power. Disney Pixar presents
Hey, kids, the name's Epstein.
Yo,
Let's get you out of
no!
here.
Not Epstein Island!
This is amazing.
Bro, the island is wild, bro. You gotta
Just a
calm
little bit,
down.
and the world slows down. Woo, snow day, baby.
You can't keep running, kid. It's gonna bury you.
Maybe I like the cold.
Or maybe you want out.
I'm the snowman.
Moms, I like girls. No son of mine is going to be straight. I like girls.
It's
That's
like
who
the
I
other
am.
one. Okay.
I don't want to sit on the drag queen's lap.
This spring, 5 friends
Are you seeing this? It's coming down!
will find harmony in the middle of change.
8 kids, 8 dads. I need them all to show up.
From Disney and Pixar.
You know what today is? Court date.
Whoa. I already paid for sneakers.
Can we talk about this later?
How many dads can one mom wrangle?
It's my first day on the job. I've been practicing my salute all week.
He's got more heart than half the force. Sometimes that's all a city needs.
Papa,
Officer
I wanna be
down?
like you.
From Disney and Pixar.
Sir, please listen carefully. Do not redeem it. Do not redeem it.
One day, I'll save the car. Just like you.
Hey, honey. We are going to the room. Why don't you come sit in your special chair in your little corner?
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
Disney's Cuckold. Coming soon.
What's wrong?
Why am I not allowed to say it?
A boy on a mission to find answers.
Use it wisely.
Would you like to come back to my place? Sometimes love finds you. Sometimes it's just that easy. Disney's Barry McCockiner. Coming soon, probably.
They look so together. Maybe I just need to look like them.
You coming?
Yeah.
This fall, dare to find where you belong.
Yo, what
This
is
holiday.
this?
Again?
He's had enough.
It's the juice. It's always the juice. And I'm gonna stop it. Every drop of it.
He's starting a movement.
Some things, kid, you can't paint out of the world.
This is why I don't like.
Ow! I'm tired of this family!
Where are you going?
We're out of milk! I'm just running to the store for some milk.
Do you think Dad will find it?
I don't know, baby.
Finding milk.
I want to be a furry.
That's great.
Really?
No.
Bro, what's up with the smoke detector,
Why won't
G?
anyone accept me?
But sometimes you get what you ask for.
Someday, I'm gonna fly higher than the clouds.
The world is big, Ozma, but so is your heart.
From Disney and
Oh
Pixar.
my
Look
God.
at it, Baba.
The city in the sky.
You looking for a legend, baby?
Lady, what are you doing?
Showing you why they call me the GOAT.
Oh, whoa. This feels amazing.
When a toothless grandma gives a surprise only she can give. The Throat of Love from Disney and Pixar.
Time to make some moves, man. I'm already regretting this.
Yo!
Three unlikely friends.
Bro, we got the
driving?
GTA anime. We got Pixar's presents Grand Theft Auto 5 before Grand Theft Auto 6. Are you serious? This is what we have now? This is what the world has come to. We got Pixar animated presents Michael Trevor and freaking I don't freaking know. I forget the other guy's name. Franklin. Yeah. Michael Trevor and Franklin. GTA 5 the movie, bro. You gotta be kidding me, G. This low-key seemed fire though. I give it explosion.
Santos for a ride.
Oh no. It's leaking again. Hi, yeah, I need a plumber, fast.
You called the right guy.
Fill my crack with caulk.
You've got
Thanks
it.
for
Bro,
saving my
what?
back. And maybe my day.
Anytime. The pipe layer.
He just couldn't crack it until he met someone who saw the spark inside.
Need a paw?
Disney Pixar presents Busting a Nut. In this house, we follow the rules.
But some rules feel wrong.
He's doing it again.
Maybe getting clean shouldn't make me feel dirty.
That's something for you, little man.
Whoa, what's the Diddy party?
Best night of the summer, and you're invited. Oh, almost forgot. Tradition.
Baby oil?
Trust me, you'll see.
Okay, guess I'm going.
The chicken dinner is cold, woman.
Daddy, are you ever coming back?
I don't know, man.
Disney
I already did
Pixar
this, man.
presents
Come on, stop
Finding
doubling
Nemo.
down
She
on the
felt
race.
like she didn't fit anywhere.
I don't know where I belong.
Let me show you. Until someone opened a door to a place made just for her.
This feels right.
That's kind of funny. Okay. All right. So, what the hell? We already seen this. Okay. What else we got? All right. Let's dig into this. Let's change the.
My Lie Massacre.
Yo, chill out. Let me talk the freaking video in first. Golly.
16th of March, 1968.
Golly. Let me do it. Bro, where's my... All right. It is what it is. All right. Here we have it, chat. Every major U.S. war crime in 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm already knowing it's about to get highly wicked. So just bear with me on this one, okay?
My Lie Massacre. On the 16th of March 1968, in the Vietnamese village called Sun Mai, U.S. soldiers carried out what became the largest massacre of civilians by American forces in the 20th century. Between 347 and 504 unarmed villagers, most of them...
Bro, oh my God, between 350 and 500 people, bro. Villages, unarmed villagers.
Women, children, and the elderly were killed. Many women and girls, some as young as 12, were raped before being murdered.
Oh my
Bodies
God.
were mutilated, homes were burned, and livestock was slaughtered. Witnesses described women using their bodies to shield children, only for soldiers to fire into them. One ditch alone held more than 70 dead. Then, platoons went hut to hut, killing entire families, bayoneting the wounded, and throwing grenades. Soldiers later testified that their orders had been to destroy everything, leave nothing, and treat anyone still there as the enemy. One soldier intentionally shot himself in the foot to avoid taking part. A few, like Michael Bernhardt, refused to kill and later helped expose what happened. The massacre might have been even worse if not for Warrant Officer Hugh Thompson Jr. and his helicopter crew. Flying low over the village, they saw women and children being slaughtered, and at one point, Thompson landed between U.S. soldiers and terrified civilians, ordering his own gunners to fire on Americans if they kept killing. He personally evacuated survivors by helicopter, saving dozens. At first, the massacre was reported as a great victory, claiming that 128 Viet Cong were killed, and the unit was congratulated. Officers up the chain of command worked to hide the truth, but later on, when veterans like Ronald Ridenhour spoke out and journalist Seymour Hersh investigated, the world learned the real story. When photographs surfaced showing women, children, and babies piled in ditches, what happened could no longer be denied. In the end, 26 soldiers were charged, but only one, Lieutenant Calley, was convicted. He was found guilty of murdering 22 villagers and sentenced to life in prison.
22, but they eliminated between 350 and 500 individuals, but you only got charged for 22? That's kind of crazy, bro. And I think everybody that took part in that should have been charged as well, because it's like you can tell they weren't a part of the fighting force, bro. You can tell that they weren't a part of the army. Like, I don't understand the purpose of wiping out everybody, G. That's just crazy.
But he served 3.5 years under house arrest after President Nixon intervened. Medina, accused of giving the orders, was acquitted. Most others escaped punishment. Survivors, many of them children at the time, carried the trauma for decades. One recalled, "Everyone in my family was killed. They threw me into a ditch full of dead bodies. I was covered with blood and brains." Haditha Massacre.
Yo, so everybody didn't even... It was a couple survivors then. Oh my God.
On the morning of November 19th, 2005, in the Iraqi town of Haditha, a roadside bomb tore through a U.S. Marine convoy. The explosion killed a Marine instantly and left 2 other Marines badly wounded. Within hours, that turned into one of the darkest chapters of the Iraq War. The Marines shot 5 unarmed men who had been ordered out of their taxi, killing them on the spot. Then, they entered nearby houses. Inside were families with grandparents, parents, and children as young as 1 year old. Nonetheless, 19 civilians were killed in their homes, most shot at close range in the chest or head. By the end of the day, 25 unarmed civilians were dead, with the youngest victim being just 3 years old. The Marine Corps' first official story was false. They claimed that 15 civilians had been killed by the roadside bomb, and that 8 insurgents died in a firefight afterward. However, an Iraqi human rights worker filmed the aftermath: bullet holes in walls, bloodstains on floors, and bodies of women and children with gunshot wounds. A Time magazine reporter then began investigating and found that doctors at the local hospital confirmed that none of the bodies showed bomb injuries, but close-range gunshot wounds. A 9-year-old girl who survived said she saw her grandfather shot first in the chest and then in the head, followed by her grandmother. Investigations stretched on for years, and at first, 8 Marines were charged, but case after case collapsed. Some Marines received immunity in exchange for testimony, while others had their charges dropped. By 2008, nearly all charges were gone, and the only Marine punished was Vuteric. He admitted to negligent dereliction of duty, lost rank and pay, but avoided jail. For many Iraqis, this outcome was unbearable, as families who had lost multiple relatives in one morning saw 6 years of U.S. military prosecution end without a single Marine imprisoned. Survivors called it an assault on humanity. Lawyers for the victims urged international courts to take up the case. Meanwhile, the U.S. military paid $38,000 in compensation to some families. Samar Campaign. Kill everyone over the age of 10. Those were the words of General Jacob H. Smith during the Philippine-American War in what became known as the Pacification of Samar. His order did not apply only to armed enemy fighters, but to everyone, as he wanted to turn the island into, in his own words, a howling wilderness. The situation leading up to this was already tense, as just months earlier, Filipino fighters together with local townspeople had carried out the Balangiga massacre, where in a surprise attack, they killed 54 and wounded 18 U.S. soldiers. That's when the U.S. government sent General Smith to Samar, who made it clear that he wanted no prisoners and asked for everyone capable of bearing arms to be killed. When Marines asked him what exactly capable of bearing arms meant, Smith explained that it meant boys as young as 10 years old. Waller himself, the major leading these Marines, partly resisted these instructions, telling some of his officers not to target women and children. Still, over just 11 days, he reported that his men burned 255 homes and killed 39 people. Civilians saw their towns and food reduced to ashes. The number of deaths will never be fully known, but broader estimates suggest around 2,000 to 2,500 civilians were killed. The campaign became infamous in the United States once reports reached home, and Smith was put on trial in May 1902, but not for murder or war crimes. Instead, he was found guilty only of conduct to the prejudice of good order and military discipline, a minor charge. His punishment was just a formal reprimand. To calm public anger, he was quietly forced into retirement. Waller himself was also later put on trial for ordering the execution of Filipino porters, but he was acquitted. Nisar Square Massacre. This one was different from the others. It happened without warning, and not by the regular U.S. Army, but by a private contractor known as Blackwater, which made it even more controversial. On a normal morning in September 2007, a Blackwater convoy drove into Nisar Square in Baghdad to clear a route for U.S. officials. Moments later, though, out of nowhere, They opened fire on Iraqi civilians. 17 people were killed and 20 more were wounded. Some were shot while still sitting in their cars. For example, witnesses described one small Kia with a mother and her adult son inside. The son was shot in the head, and the car kept moving forward and was riddled with more bullets before a grenade set it on fire. Blackwater claimed the convoy had been ambushed and that the guards fired in self-defense, but the Iraqi government called it an unprovoked attack. The State Department admitted that innocent people had been killed, and Iraq suspended Blackwater's license to operate in its territory and demanded accountability. Several investigations began, and a U.S. military report supported Iraq's version of events, saying Blackwater was at fault. The FBI concluded that at least 14 of the 17 people killed had been shot without justification. Some Blackwater guards themselves told investigators that the shooting was wrong. One guard even kept firing after others shouted for him to stop, until another contractor aimed his weapon at him to force him to stand down. The massacre raised questions about the role of private military contractors, and Iraq demanded punishment for Blackwater and pressed for compensation. In the U.S., the House passed a bill to bring contractors under U.S. criminal law in war zones, though the Senate did not vote on it. Then, the State Department told Blackwater its security contract would not be renewed, and years later, the case reached U.S. courts. In 2014, 4 Blackwater guards were convicted in federal court. One of them was sentenced to life in prison, while the others received 30 years each under firearms laws. There were some appeals, but in the end, the man originally sentenced to life was once again given life in prison, while the other 3 had their sentences reduced to about half of what they were before. Later on, however, there was a final twist. In December 2020, President Donald Trump pardoned all 4 men. The decision triggered outrage in Iraq and harsh criticism from United Nations experts, who said the pardons violated U.S. obligations under international law. Abu Ghraib. The photos from Abu Ghraib are widely known around the world for how disturbing they look, but the background is even darker. To the public, Abu Ghraib was a normal detention and an interrogation facility, but it wasn't at all. Inside, there was sexual humiliation to lengths we can't go to for obvious reasons, torture, physical abuse, and rape. There was even the killing of Manadel al-Jamadi, whose body was packed in ice and later photographed with soldiers posing beside it. The shock was immediate and worldwide, so the Bush administration answered quickly, saying that these were isolated acts by a few rogue soldiers. However, organizations like the Red Cross, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch said the opposite, claiming this was part of a larger pattern across U.S. prisons in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Guantanamo. The Red Cross also reported that most Abu Ghraib detainees were civilians with no connection to armed groups. Then, internal documents showed how they were given approval for what were called enhanced interrogation techniques. These documents would be later known as the torture memos, for reasons you can imagine. They argued that the Geneva Conventions didn't apply overseas and didn't classify the detainees as prisoners of war, which allowed them to hold people longer without charges and deny them the rights normally given to prisoners of war. Other orders showed Lieutenant General Ricardo Sanchez authorizing the use of dogs, extreme heat and cold, reversed sleep cycles, and sensory deprivation. Inside the cells, prisoners were stripped naked and forced into humiliating poses, threatened with dogs, beaten, shackled in painful positions, deprived of sleep and warmth, and forced into sexual acts. Taguba recorded one prisoner sodomized with a chemical light. Detainees spoke of acid poured on their skin, being dragged by ropes tied to their genitals, and being mocked. Manadel al-Jamadi, whose death was ruled a homicide, never led to any criminal charges. At the same time, 36 detainees died in insurgent mortar attacks on the prison, which critics said violated the Geneva rule that prisoners should not be kept in active combat zones. In 2006, the Supreme Court ruled that the Geneva Conventions did apply, and 17 soldiers and officers were removed, while 11 were court-martialed. The punishments varied. One guy got 10 years, some 3, and others shorter sentences, or even just reprimands or demotions. External contractors, such as the company CACI Premier Technology, also came under scrutiny. Pretty recently, in 2024, a jury found them liable for conspiring with military police to soften up prisoners through abuse, awarding 3 former detainees $42 million in damages. Jurors concluded that CACI interrogators facilitated mistreatment even if they did not personally carry it out. Operation Speed.
Alright, hold on, chat. Freaking headphones is tweaking.
This was one of the most brutal and controversial U.S. campaigns of the Operation Speedy Express.
Man, this is getting wicked. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. This is definitely not for the faint of heart.
This was one of the most brutal and controversial U.S. campaigns of the Vietnam War. You can get an idea of what really happened when you hear that the Army reported about 11,000 enemy killed, but recovered only 750 weapons from the dead. Operation Speed of the Vietnam War. You can get an idea of what really happened when you hear that the Army reported about 11,000 enemy killed, but recovered only 750 weapons from the dead. Operation Speedy Express, carried out from December 1968 to May 1969, and run under Major General Julian Ewell, had the
Seemed like a lot of people that they killed did not have weapons, so that's strange. Oh, wrong button.
official goal of destroying Viet Cong bases, cutting supply lines, and re-establishing U.S. control over a region considered a stronghold of the Viet Cong, the Mekong Delta. On paper, the operation looked like an overwhelming success, considering that just 242 American soldiers died, while the enemy lost 11,000. With a ratio of 45-1, it looked like a decisive victory, but the numbers hid something darker. The fact that only about 750 weapons were recovered means that thousands of those killed were probably unarmed civilians.
Exactly.
The Army's own Inspector General later estimated that between 5,000 and 7,000 civilians were killed during the operation.
Bro,
the campaign relied on overwhelming firepower, like helicopter gunships, artillery barrages, and fighter bomber strikes, in a heavily crowded region with civilians. This basically turned entire areas into free fire zones. David Hackworth, a highly decorated battalion commander, admitted openly, a lot of innocent Vietnamese civilians got slaughtered because of the Yule Hunt drive to have the highest body count in the land. Survivors and witnesses described whole villages wiped out, with civilians getting shot from the air as they tried to run. A Viet Cong commander later explained, most of the people killed were civilians, because civilians would run. We soldiers held our positions. Reports of atrocities began to surface in 1969, but they were overshadowed by the My Lai massacre, which we've just talked about. In 1972, Newsweek published an investigation by Kevin Buckley and Alexander Shimkin called Pacification's Deadly Price. They had interviewed villagers and studied hospital records. In one provincial hospital, they found that 3/4 of the civilian wounds treated came from U.S. firepower, not Viet Cong attacks. Their conclusion was that thousands of civilians had been killed during Speedy Express. No Gun Ri Massacre. In the summer of 1950, during the Korean War, one of its darkest tragedies took place at a railway bridge near the village of No Gun Ri. U.S. commanders were afraid that North Korean soldiers were disguising themselves as civilians, so they ordered refugee movements to be blocked. Declassified documents later showed that some commands actually went even further, authorizing troops to fire on groups of civilians who approached. Then, disaster struck. As waves of refugees fled south from the advancing North Korean army, they reached U.S. lines. There, they were stopped, searched, and grouped near the railway tracks by No Gun Ri. American planes then shot at them. Survivors say ground troops soon opened fire too, driving them into the culverts and pinning them down in the bridge underpasses. Hundreds of South Korean refugees, mostly women, children, and the elderly, were caught under fire, and for 3 days, families screamed as they piled bodies on top of one another for cover, drank from a stream turned red with blood, and watched children die beside them. The death toll has long been debated, with survivors speaking of about 400 people killed, and U.S. veterans giving numbers ranging from dozens to several hundred. A South Korean government inquiry was able to confirm 163 people dead or missing by name, along with 55 wounded, and concluded that the real toll was likely much higher, around 250 to 300. Nearly half of the confirmed victims were children. For decades, the story was silenced, as survivors lived in fear under South Korea's authoritarian governments.
This is why the world hates us. As Americans, I get it. I completely understand. I didn't think it was this bad. Holy cow. Yo, these are truly atrocities, chat. I couldn't imagine this stuff was going on, bro. Maybe I'm green. Maybe I'm just, I can't imagine that. I could not imagine that this is actually what's taking place in different countries in the world. And then that we're doing this, we're the ones that's doing this. It's like, bro, we're the bad guys. We're definitely the bad guys. You can't tell me that it's a justified reason to do what they did to these people. That's insanity.
It was not until 1999 that the Associated Press exposed the story worldwide, interviewing survivors and U.S. veterans. The reporting won a Pulitzer Prize and forced both the U.S. and South Korean governments to investigate. The U.S. Army's 2001 report admitted that civilians had been killed by American air and ground fire, but claimed there had been no orders to deliberately massacre them. It described the killings as a tragic accident of war. President Bill Clinton expressed deep regret and admitted things happened which were wrong. Instead of compensation, the U.S. funded a memorial and scholarships, which survivors rejected. South Korean investigators...
I don't blame you, man. F your scholarships, bro. It's like, nah, only... To be honest, you can't compensate me. You can't compensate me for that. That's crazy. It's like to imprison someone is one thing. To eliminate a soldier is one thing. To kill one innocent person is one thing. Bro, they were stacking dead bodies as a barricade to protect themselves from this onslaught of American bullets, while only being able to drink from a blood-soaked river. Bro, are you serious? Oh my God, Whiskey. You gotta, no, Whiskey. Come on. You can't be on my laptop, baby. Yeah, get up there. Oh my God, Chad. Could you imagine though? Could you imagine? And then they say, you know what? Hopefully we can call it even. I'll bury everybody for you and then give your young ones some scholarships. It's like, bro, if you don't get out of here, it's like, nah, G, I'm looking to get it back in blood, bro. We training the next Osama over here. Come on, Cat. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry.
David Hackworth, a highly decorated battalion commander, admitted openly a lot of innocent Vietnamese civilians.
Bro, how did you change the font of my subtitles? How did you do all of this? All right, I'm sorry, Chad.
Civilians got slaughtered because of the Yule Hunt drive to have the highest body count in the land. Survivors and witnesses described whole villages wiped out, with civilians getting shot from the air as they tried to run.
Hold on.
A Viet Cong commander later explained, most of the people killed were civilians because civilians would run. We soldiers held our positions. Reports of atrocities began to surface. U.S. firepower, not Viet Cong attacks. Their conclusion was that and studied hospital records. In one provincial hospital, they found that 3/4 of the civilian wounds treated came from U.S. firepower, not Viet Cong attacks. Their conclusion was that thousands of civilians had been killed during Speedy Express. No Gun Ri massacre. In the summer of 1950, during the Korean War, one of its darkest tragedies took place at a railway bridge near the village of No Gun Ri. U.S. commanders were afraid that North Korean soldiers were disguising themselves as civilians, so they ordered refugee movements to be blocked. Declassified documents later showed that some commands actually went even further, authorizing troops to fire on groups of civilians who approached. Then, disaster struck. As waves of refugees fled south from the advancing North Korean army, they reached U.S. lines. There, they were stopped, searched, and grouped near the railway tracks by No Gun Ri. American planes then shot at them. Survivors say ground troops soon opened fire too, driving them into the culverts and pinning them down in the bridge underpasses. Hundreds of South Korean refugees, mostly women, children, and the elderly, were caught under fire, and for 3 days, families screamed as they piled bodies on top of one another for cover, drank from a stream turned red with blood, and watched children die beside them. The death toll has long been debated, with survivors speaking of about 400 people killed, and U.S. veterans giving numbers ranging from dozens to several hundred. A South Korean government inquiry was able to confirm 163 people dead or missing by name, along with 55 wounded, and concluded that the real toll was likely much higher, around 250 to 300. Nearly half of the confirmed victims were children. For decades, the story was silenced, as survivors lived in fear under South Korea's authoritarian governments. It was not until 1999 that the Associated Press exposed the story worldwide, interviewing survivors and U.S. veterans. The reporting won a Pulitzer Prize and forced both the U.S. and South Korean governments to investigate. The U.S. Army's 2001 report admitted that civilians had been killed by American air and ground fire, but claimed there had been no orders to deliberately massacre them. It described the killings as a tragic accident of war. President Bill Clinton expressed deep regret and admitted things happened which were wrong. Instead of compensation, the U.S. funded a memorial and scholarships, which survivors rejected. South Korean investigators, however, concluded that there had almost certainly been orders to fire, pointing to missing records, consistent testimony, and orders from the time to treat refugees as enemy agents. Later, more declassified documents strengthened the case. One was a letter dated July 26, 1950, from the U.S. ambassador in Seoul, reporting that the U.S. military had adopted a policy of shooting refugee groups approaching its lines. This and other incriminating records had been deliberately left out of the Army's official report. No Gunry also set off wider investigations in South Korea, uncovering more than 200 other cases of alleged U.S. killings of civilians in the early years of the war, including refugee bombings and mass executions. Sand Creek Massacre. On November 29, 1864, troops under Colonel John Chivington rode toward a Native American camp of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people. Chief Black Kettle had moved his people there after being told it was safe, and he raised a U.S. flag with a white flag underneath it to show peace. Many of the warriors were away, and most of the people in camp were too old or too young to fight. Despite this, Chivington's soldiers attacked. Witnesses later described women and children being shot at close range, people cut apart with knives, babies killed, and bodies mutilated for trophies. One account told of a child wandering in the sand, while soldiers took turns trying to shoot him. Another described fingers and ears cut off for jewelry, and the body of Chief White Antelope butchered. By the time the killing ended, most of the dead were women and children. Chivington claimed that 500 to 600 warriors were killed, boasting about the number, but other sources said the real number was closer to 150, with about 2/3 women and children. The soldiers suffered far fewer losses. Before leaving, they looted the lodges and returned to kill some of the wounded. The reason why this massacre happened in the first place is even sadder. In the 1851 Fort Laramie Treaty, the U.S. recognized a large Cheyenne and Arapaho homeland. But after the Colorado Gold Rush and new migration, they asked the natives for more land than was agreed, and a small group of chiefs signed the Fort Wise Treaty, ceding most of the land to appease the U.S. Many Cheyenne, though, rejected it as invalid, and tensions rose. The governor told friendly Indians to gather near forts in order to stay safe, and Colonel Chivington himself, while he declared openly that he had come to kill Indians, told those seeking peace to come under military protection at Fort Lyon. That's exactly what Black Kettle did, following his instructions, but his people were pushed out. He still believed the U.S. and white flags would protect them, but the massacre happened. In Colorado and Washington, the story was first reported as a victory, but the truth quickly surfaced. 3 investigations followed, including a congressional inquiry that called it a foul and dastardly massacre. Officers and scouts testified about the killings and mutilations. Captain Soule, who had refused to fire, gave evidence and was murdered shortly after in Denver. Despite the findings, no one was court-martialed. Chivington had already resigned, and while his career ended in disgrace, he avoided legal punishment. A later treaty at the Little Arkansas promised survivors land access and reparations, but those promises were soon broken and replaced with much smaller reservations. Philippines concentration camps. During the Philippine-American War, concentration camps were used in Batangas, and one American officer described them as some suburb of hell. You'll soon understand why. Back then, General James Franklin Bell took command of U.S. forces in that area, and his goal was to starve the rebels and cut them off from any support. However, since there were many civilians there, they decided to put them into heavily guarded camps, as their homes, fields, and animals were destroyed. All civilians were required to carry identification papers, and anyone found outside the camps without them could be shot on the spot. Bell himself said neutrality should not be tolerated, which meant that everyone was either an enemy or a friend, and anyone accused of helping the rebels risked execution. Conditions inside the camps were catastrophic. People were packed together in crowded spaces with poor sanitation, which made diseases spread quickly. Cholera, smallpox, beriberi, and even bubonic plague killed thousands. Food was also scarce, and some soldiers described groups of men being forced to dig their own graves before being executed, with the excuse that keeping them alive would take food away from U.S. troops. Torture was also performed, such as waterboarding. The death toll was incredible. Between January and April 1902, 8,350 people died in the camps. In some camps, as many as 1 out of every 5 prisoners died. To calm public anger in the United States, the Army's top public relations officer tried to defend the camps. He claimed they were meant to protect friendly natives, feed them, and teach them better hygiene. However, this claim collapsed when reports from inside the camp surfaced, with letters from soldiers and witnesses. Wounded Knee Massacre. Before sunrise at Wounded Knee Creek, cavalry surrounded the Native American band of Lakota and began collecting their guns. Tension grew as soldiers searched the people, and a deaf Lakota man named Black Coyote held onto his rifle, and during a struggle, it went off. In that instant, soldiers opened fire on the entire camp, even though most Lakota men had already been disarmed. The Army's Hotchkiss guns fired into the tents where women and children were hiding. In less than an hour, more than 250 Lakota were killed or fatally wounded. 25 U.S. soldiers were also killed. Survivors tried to flee, but they were chased and shot, and some soldiers finished off the wounded where they lay. A blizzard followed the massacre, and 3 days later, civilians gathered the frozen bodies and placed them in a mass grave. 4 infants were found alive, still wrapped in their mother's shawls. The Army removed Colonel Forsyth, who had led the operation, but later reinstated him. An inquiry criticized his tactics, but did not blame him. 19 medals of honor were then awarded for Wounded Knee. Native leaders and many others have condemned those awards for decades, but most recently, in 2025, the Defense Secretary announced the medals would not be revoked. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join my Discord.
Man, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, chat. I don't like that at all. All right, you know what? Let's just watch this one. We're gonna watch another Dire Trip video. This is let's see if I can talk it in. So there you have it, chat. That was 20 of the most horrific war crimes committed by the United States military. And going into our next video, we have the delusional mass shooter who became a joke. This is a video brought to you by Dire. Oh my God. Dire Trip. Yeah, that's what they're called. Dire Trip. So, yeah, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. You see, I got my sleepy kitty laying on me, so that's that.
When a depressed, paranoid young man was isolating during the lockdown era, he became obsessed with 4chan and Reddit, going down a rabbit hole of radicalization. Strangely enough, despite not being pushed to do such a thing, he felt he was going down that path against his will because it was his destiny. Flavored air is quickly gaining in popularity as it quickly becomes an alternative to vaping and smoking. At the forefront of all of it is fume. Sometimes people get so stuck, and that's feeling harmful acid. When it comes to simple, it's even better. Sponsoring this, when you go back as far as Columbine, those 2 shooters were also inspired by the Oklahoma City bombing, among other things. What's much more unusual is when one of these killers feels obligated to carry out an attack despite not actually wanting to, even going as far as expressing exactly how much they don't want to go through with it for the months leading up to it. Peyton Gendron was born on June 20th, 2003. He lived in Southern Tier, New York for his entire life with his parents and his 2 brothers. Both of his parents were civil engineers, with Peyton wanting nothing more than to go down that path himself. He had a fairly normal upbringing, coming to attend school and make friends. In 3rd grade, he met his lifelong best friend named Matt. He would hang out at his cousins' houses where they would go target shooting together. He went hunting with his uncles a few times as well. He said that this was nice, as, in his words, his direct family didn't have any interests. When he was very young, he was swimming in a pond near his cousin's house. After getting into the deeper water, he realized that he couldn't swim as well as he thought he could. Sinking down to the bottom of the pond, he was rescued by his uncle who jumped in and saved him. Peyton was thrown onto the grass where he vomited up a good amount of pond water that he had swallowed. Little did his uncle know what kind of future this kid would hold. While Peyton was still quite young, around 12 or 13 years old, he started to have negative interactions with some black kids at his school. At one point, according to Peyton, a girl who was mad at him told the teachers that he had called her the N-word in order to get him into trouble. He was given in-school suspension for the rest of the day. He never forgot about that incident, even much later in life. At around this time, he was in some extracurricular activities. He was in the Boy Scouts and even joined the school swim and soccer teams. There was a lot more going on behind the scenes in his mind, though. Even as a kid, Peyton was interested in different...
Chat, is something wrong with his eye? Or is that just how he smiles? It's like, even this last picture...
He was in the Boy Scouts...
Even this last picture, his right eye is closed. I think that's kind of strange, right?
And even joined the school swim and soccer teams. There was a lot more going on behind the scenes in his mind, though.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, Peyton was interested in different political ideologies. He would later write, "When I was 12, I was deep into communist ideology. Talk to anyone from my old high school and ask about me and you will hear that. From age 15 to 18, however, I consistently moved farther to the right. On the political compass, I fall in the mild, moderate, authoritarian left category, and I would prefer to be called a populist."
So I get being into communism when you're young. It's like, yeah, it's an immature mind state before you truly understand what it really is and what it has to offer. It's like it's not as universal as you might think. It's not as utopian as it might seem. It's like it's really cornering, in my opinion. Like I feel like it was a moment in time where I considered myself going down a pathway that understood communism, and I literally just said, as I get older, I just learn and understand that it's truly the value of life is to be able to choose what you want. That's what freedom is. That's what we're built off of. And like, if we had all of our current amenities, but we only had one company to choose for each like thing, I don't think that'd be fun. You feel me? It's like it's only Nike. It's only like one brand for shirts. It's only one brand for pants, one brand for cell phones, one brand for internet, only one brand of television, one brand of this, one brand of that. It's like everybody has a monopoly on that one thing. There is no free enterprise where you can wake up and decide that you're going to go into the corn business. You want to oh my God, you want to grow lettuce or something like that. You feel me? Now you could be a farmer and you can compete with the prices of the market of lettuce and have the people choose who to go with based off of quality and price point. The thing is, in a capitalistic society, that's how we run things. May the best player win. May the best business win. For the most part, you know. In a communistic society, it's not like that. It's just one business for everything, and it's normally the government. It's normally the government that has control over the businesses you get to choose from, and that's not fun. So it is what it is, chat. I'm gonna keep the video going.
As you can probably tell, Peyton's views would come to get more and more confusing as time went on. While he followed many different beliefs and trends that could be seen as leftist, he also took inspiration here and there from the far right. This trend of following bits and pieces of both the hard left and the hard right would come to be a constant throughout his entire life. As Peyton continued to move through school, he ended up at the Susquehanna Valley High School. From very early on, Peyton was seen as being a loser, one of the weird kids. As he would later come to admit himself, this was all fairly self-inflicted. He later stated, "I dislike interacting with other people considerably. This happens multiple times, including strangers who talk to me and even professors at college. I would like to say I had quite a normal childhood, but that is not the case. It's not that I actually dislike other people, it's just that they make me feel so uncomfortable I've probably spent actual years of my life just being online. And to be honest, I regret it. I didn't go to friends' houses often or even go to any parties or whatever. Every day after school I would just go home and play games and watch YouTube, mostly by myself. One of his classmates later came to say that she rarely saw him coming to school in person, with Peyton opting to take online classes whenever they were available or just skip class in general. Noting that he was very quiet, she did feel that something was off about him, but never that he could be violent. Peyton had, behind the scenes, been dealing with mental illness for a while. At the very least, he was extremely depressed. This led to problems with his confidence, leading to him failing to socialize, a lack of motivation, and the desire to self-isolate and sleep throughout most of his days. When junior year came around, Peyton had come to hear that a fellow student had ended his own life. While he wasn't friends with him, he had sat next to him in one of his calculus classes. Peyton came to wonder what he thought, or how he felt right before the act. He would continue to wonder about that for the rest of his life. Peyton began to grow very concerned with COVID as soon as the news started coming out of Wuhan, China. Lockdowns began to start taking place in New York in March of 2020. Around that time, Peyton had a bad interaction with his family when he went over to his cousin's house donning a mask, gloves, and anything else he could find, only to see that nobody else was wearing anything. He wrote, "Sometime between March 15th, 2020 and May 5th, 2020, there I lost myself and a bit of my sanity. I remember I went to my cousin's house with a mask and full get-up and no one else did, and seeing that caused me so much pain. Eventually it was too much to bear and I had to leave early and walk home through the woods. I then barricaded myself in the basement for a few days." Peyton began to take his own COVID precautions up a notch, going far past the—
Nah, bro. Yeah, no, he has... I can see it in his face. He has... I don't think it's Down syndrome. He might have autism. But, like, yeah, no. Y'all need to get him tested. Y'all truly need to get him tested. Because I don't think he's, like, truly crazy. He just really might be misunderstood and just, like, need better friends.
Irregular requirements. On the first day of his senior year in 2020, around late August, he showed up to school wearing an entire hazmat suit. Other students in class stared at him as he made a fool of himself, but Peyton didn't really seem all too bothered by that. Many thought he might be doing it as a joke, but his later writings would reveal that he was indeed very afraid of ever contracting COVID. It was after that Peyton began to self-isolate even more, now distancing himself from his cousins as well. By May of 2020, he started using 4chan very often. He said himself, "I remember my first time visiting B, haha. I mostly look at pol and K, but sometimes an, out, B, sci, X, and biz. I browse r/political compass memes on Reddit and poll on 4chan every day.
Hey,
so yeah, I guess you can say..."
Do y'all know what he's talking about? I have absolutely no idea what is even going on with this visiting B, the poll, K, all of this, and out. I have no idea what any of this stuff is.
I'm quite into politics. Yeah, I'm equivalent to the average 4chan degenerate. What else do you expect from a person who barely interacts with regular people? In before, he got radicalized on 4chan, lolololololol. He added that he felt somewhat enlightened by browsing 4chan, feeling that there he was exposed to many ideas that the mainstream media would never cover. He said, "Although many threads are utter shitpost of trash quality, I feel there are many problems of the world being addressed that are not popular or talked about on regular media. White genocide is real when you look at data, but is not talked about on popular media outlets. I think this is connected to globo-homo propaganda and the capitalist agenda for a new world order." In addition to browsing 4chan a lot, Peyton admitted that much of his radicalization came from Reddit as well, a platform that has been coming under fire more and more as these sorts of claims continue to grow in number. He said, "Of course, many of my beliefs would come from Reddit too. Many subreddits I joined have been banned, but they show up on r/against-hate subreddits all the time. Ones that are still around include r/greentext, r/4chan, r/political compass memes, r/social justice in action, r/love for landlords, and r/anti-hate communities, of which I am actually in their Discord." Peyton said that a lot of his fears due to COVID mostly came from Reddit, adding, "COVID changed a lot of things for me. For some reason I was deathly afraid of getting sick and having permanent disabilities afterwards. You can thank Reddit for that." Peyton never went to any social gatherings and only went to Matt's house on the very rare occasion. For the most part, he refused to directly interact with other people. While he would say that he regretted this isolation, missing out on quite a lot of fun, he didn't try to change it. He came home, played video games, and watched TV until he went to bed pretty much every day. This left him with plenty of time. Over time, he, by his own admission, grew more and more racist due to what he was seeing on 4chan, even though he hadn't really had that many problems with other races in the past. He began obsessively reading about things like birth rates, crime statistics, and the amount of money being spent on welfare. He came to believe that it was the Jews who had brought the slaves to America in the first place, believing it was their goal to destroy white culture. This led to him feeling an immense amount of hatred towards both groups. Paired with his original depression, seeing these depressing, cynical memes day in and day out only made the problem even worse. Peyton decided that he would end it all, saying that he couldn't stand to see his culture and his people decay and die. Even more, he feared being a random victim of violence at the hands of another race. This would all change once Peyton came across something seemingly insignificant, a simple animated GIF. This wasn't just any GIF, though. It was a short clip of Brenton Tarrant's live stream. Brenton Tarrant was the Christchurch mosque shooter, a man who infamously live-streamed his murder of over 50 people to the world. Peyton wanted to learn more about him, why he did what he did, and what he believed. Peyton wrote, "I thought to myself, why did this person do it? That person was Brenton Tarrant, and after some searches I found the 17-minute live stream of him attacking the Al-Noor Mosque. I eventually found his manifesto, and I read it, and I found that I mostly agreed with him. Finally, I thought to myself, perhaps there is a chance we can combat this. Maybe there is a chance that we can take control and prevent our genocide. Maybe we can combat the hedonistic, nihilistic, and individualist insanity that has taken control of Western thought. I then found other fighters, like Patrick Crusius, Anders Breivik, Dylan Roof, and John Earnest. These men fought for me and had the same goals I did. It was there I asked myself, why don't I do something?" It was now the end of high school, late May of 2021. While the details of what happened are
What a freaking loser, man.
a bit fuzzy, most stories consist of the same basic bullet points. When Peyton was asked what he planned on doing after high school, he responded by saying that he wanted to kill a bunch of other people and then himself. This led to him being briefly investigated by the police, saying that they were acting upon a potentially threatening statement. In addition, it appears that Peyton was sent to be mentally evaluated. This is where the stories differ a bit, as Peyton has said that this was because he had indeed made those statements, but it was in an online assignment for his economics class. He said that he was asked the question in relation to what he wanted to do upon retiring. Regardless, he would later clarify that he did spend about 20 hours in the hospital on May 28th. He hated this time in the hospital, saying that it was a very negative experience for him. He said that it only convinced him even further that he needed to take action somehow, although he wasn't quite sure what that action would be yet. Given that Peyton hadn't made a specific threat towards anyone, only saying that he hypothetically wanted to kill people in general, the police couldn't really act on what he had said. He was not charged with anything, and the police didn't push to find out if he had any guns or, if he did, take them from his possession. In addition, he wasn't involuntarily committed, instead being recommended a hospital stay, trying it out, and leaving. This meant that there would be nothing to prevent him from buying guns in the future. Peyton did graduate from his high school and decided to enroll at the Sunny Broom Community College in Binghamton with a goal to study engineering science. Peyton came to attend classes regularly, sometimes even enthusiastically, but over time his online radicalization and his growing depression would lead to him once again suffering from a lack of motivation and a desire to disappear.
All right, so check. This is my thing. I don't think everybody should have access to the internet. I don't believe everybody should truly have access to the internet because yeah, the internet is a dangerous place, man. It's too many ideas out there. It's too many people spewing like controversial stuff, and like you should get mentally evaluated before owning a gun and being able to venture off into certain websites, like into certain channels and conversations, bro. If you're not all the way there, you should be excluded from all of these, in my opinion. But then again, that's not really right. That's kind of discriminatory, I guess.
Thinking that he would most likely end his life, Peyton started a Discord server for himself, one that he would use as a diary of sorts. He only posted to this server himself, never allowing anyone else to join. While he originally wanted it to be a list of his values, beliefs, and life story, he couldn't shake the idea that he wanted to commit some sort of attack like his heroes. On November 9th, 2021, he posted a meme to 4chan. In it, he wrote, "Don't worry, lads, another Brenton Tarrant event will happen soon." In response, he was told, "You won't do shit, you N-word." On November 18th, he made his first post to his Discord. At first, it was nothing but a link to Brenton's manifesto and a small bit of information about himself. A couple of days later, he posted a picture of his cat and a selfie of himself. 2 days after that, he posted an image of Brenton's final post to 8chan where he provided a link to his manifesto and livestream. It was only about a week later that he first stated he was thinking about carrying out his own attack. After ranting for a while about race, he stated that he planned on committing the attack in March, likely as a tribute to Brenton's attack that took place on March 26th. He mentioned that he had been selling off some of his items for cash, including some silver coins. Seeing silver as a form of currency and obsessing over it would be a trend throughout his Discord ramblings. Not too long after, he stated that he had opened up a bank account for these funds, saying that he was continuing to read Brenton's manifesto over and over. Most of the Discord logs would consist of extremely racist memes that Peyton had picked up from 4chan. Most of them can't really be shown on YouTube. Sometimes he would post nothing but these memes for days at a time, filling up the good majority of the chat. Most of them are towards Jews and black people. They are interspersed all throughout his other entries, along with a good number of racist rants as well. A large amount of other posts were Peyton obsessively listing what he had eaten that day and weighing himself. It's worth noting that losing weight and looking good before committing an attack was something that Dylan Roof heavily emphasized in his writings. It seems that Peyton was trying to emulate that. On December 7th, he began debating on what sort of helmet and armor he should buy. Armor would come to be a major obsession of his, even more than the guns. One could even argue that this was foreshadowed by his obsession with armoring himself against COVID and his fears of being the victim of black crime in the past. A good quarter or so of his Discord writings would come.
Do you actually know black people committing crime? Like for real? All of these people that are so afraid of like black people and have like black fatigue. It's like, do you even know black people? Do you know anybody that has been hurt by black people? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, and then if so, why? You know, like. Black people don't go around messing with white people just off the strength of race. That's not what we on. It's not how we moving. It's other things to do. It's money to get. Is other things to do. Let's keep it going, Chad.
To be about vests and armor plates. He started to wonder where he could commit his attack, trying to find the nearest place with a large black population. He also made a few pop culture references, saying that the Sonic 2 movie was coming out, posting a link to a scene from Regular Show, and then thanking the YouTuber Tobuscus for making him laugh. While he seemed fairly certain that he wanted to carry out an attack, Peyton would come to act as if it was something he had to do, not necessarily something he wanted to do. He began to see it as an obligation, not an actual desire. On the 12th of December, he expressed his doubts, saying that he was looking for any signs or evidence that he shouldn't go through with it, saying that he didn't necessarily hate black people. He acted almost as if the ideology had been forced on him. However, only 1 day later, he returned with some newfound drive, saying that the attack was what he was meant to do in his life. He also said that he had gotten his interest in guns from playing Roblox. On the 21st, Peyton documented his travels around town, looking at different
Roblox
pawn
got
shops.
Guns? Check. I never played Roblox. They got guns in Roblox? Is that the thing? I literally never played Roblox a day in my life. I'm sorry.
For guns and other equipment he might buy. He says that he wants to buy magazines compliant with New York law, saying that he wants to prove that the law is dumb and it only inconveniences people and doesn't stop criminals who are set on killing. After that, he began to contemplate how he would go about setting up a live stream, questioning whether Facebook Live or Discord would be the best option. He worried that his mobile connection wouldn't be good enough. Peyton went out and bought a Bushmaster XM15 rifle at a local gun shop. He passed the background check very easily, with the seller of the gun saying that the whole interaction was so unremarkable that he didn't even remember him. Peyton then went out to a nearby town about 9 miles away to buy a Mossberg shotgun, the exact same kind that Randy Stair used. It is unknown if this was a coincidence. He went out to Pennsylvania to buy some 30-round magazines, much higher than what is allowed in New York. He modified his rifle in a way that it could take these magazines. A few days later, he came to describe his hatred in a very brief but odd fashion. He said that while he hated N-words and race traitors, he didn't hate black people or people of other races.
Bro, what
exactly he meant by
then?
that is up to interpretation. Regardless, he felt that he was in the right. The day after New Year's in 2022, Peyton met up with his friend Matt for the first time in a while, previously saying that he hated that the two didn't talk much anymore. They went out shooting, testing out the shotgun. He seemed to be in a good mood. On the 5th, he continued buying gear. He turned to online auctions to buy both his helmet and the vest that he wanted to use in the attack, one very similar to the one that Brenton had worn.
Bro, where's he
Still,
getting
though,
this
he
money,
wasn't
though,
dead set
bro?
on doing this just yet. He expressed his fears as well, specifically saying that he's afraid of dying, being unsuccessful, or having a hero stop him. He further reiterates that he doesn't really want to perform the attack, saying, "I keep telling myself that this is the only way, and emotionally I feel that there is another path, but logically I know there is none. Why me? Why am I set up for this? This isn't what I wanted. I want to be an engineer, but if I don't carry on with the attack, my entire life would be a waste anyway." At the end of that post, and in another shortly after, he begins to complain about capitalists as well. While previously he said that he didn't actually hate black people, he does fully admit that he hates capitalists. While Peyton grew more depressed, he came to speak about his porn addiction in the posts every now and then. Each time, though, he would usually say that he had beaten the addiction. However, each time it would prove to be a lie. In time, he would expose that he was very much still looking at that content, and was interested in more of a furry variety. We'll come back to that one. January 18th of 2022 was the first time that Peyton began coming up with some more thought-out plans for his attack. A few of the things he wrote were, "I'm come up with this plan so far. Target Area 1 is first place of attack. It will be a store of some sort such as Target or Walmart, or even a smaller grocery store. There I will use my AR-15 to target black individuals and attempt to spare the whites. I may attempt to shoot black officers, but I will not shoot any whites. I will only shoot at. There I would expect better forces and will surrender to them. Before the attack, I will try to make a fake phone call and say a black man with a gun in his hands is at the Walgreens near Brooks Avenue yelling and pointing at people. This should take some patrol cars and focus them there, and when I start my attack they will be a few minutes away. I understand how brutal and inhumane this is, but unfortunately there is no other way. We simply cannot coexist in the same countries anymore." It's worth noting that Peyton calls his gun an AR-15, with him later stating at another point that this is due to the notoriety and controversy around that gun. He showed off his gun soon after. That same day, he bought the GoPro camera he intended to use. On the 20th, he made a post listing his inspirations for the attack. He wrote a list of victims of violence. Some of these were the victims in the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack, in which Darrell Edward Brooks Jr., a black man with a history of spreading hate about white people online, drove a van into a crowd of white senior citizens during a parade.
Oh my
Two
God.
others were Carl and Charlotte Joe Parker, Amanda and his daughter, who were tortured and murdered by two black robbers. There was Rodney Page, a white Marine who was murdered by a black criminal in front of his pregnant wife. Christine Schweiger was on the list, being a mother who was murdered by a 16-year-old black teenager. Randy Lawson was the final victim on the list, a white man killed while sitting in a car by a black assailant who set out to kill the first white man he saw that day. On the list were killers as well.
You know what? That's trash, bro. You know, all of these crimes against these people are absolutely heinous and trash, and I don't stand by them absolutely all. The thing is, bro, you not. This ain't that, bro. You're not getting it back in blood like this, bro. That's not what this is, G. It's not the same. Maybe to you it is, but don't nobody else think this way, bro. You insane, dog. You insane, man. And I hate to say, like, did you actually even know black people, bro? Did you even know black people in your life? Sit down.
Clinton was at the top of this list. Under him was Dylan Roof, then Anders Behring Breivik under him. The last of these was Patrick Crucius. Peyton at this time had started writing a manifesto as well. He would even skip class to write it, usually sitting in a quiet area of the library of his college. By early February, it was sitting at 30 pages in length. In March, he started toying around with his camera, trying out live streams on both Twitch and Discord. They both seemed to be working. Early that month, he scoped out his target, Buffalo, New York. There was a particular supermarket there that he felt would be a prime location for his attack. He drove 3 hours out there to check it out in person. However, even while it seemed he felt motivated at points, he still continued to express that he wasn't into it. He said that he had considered ending his life on the 13th, but relented and decided that dying by himself would be, in his words, too selfish. The next day he apologized to his readers, which was strange given that nobody was reading these in real time. Nobody knew anything of his plans and wouldn't until he chose to reveal them. He said that he wanted to spend time with Matt, tweak his manifesto, and say his goodbyes. However, he didn't. He posted what looked like a map of the location he wanted to attack the next day. After, he wrote, "I can't tell you how much I don't want to do this attack. My only other choice is ending my own life, and I can't go back." He then posted a meme, this showing Brenton along with 2 of his followers, John Ernest and Patrick Crucius, as Chads. Days later, he continued to elaborate on how a big part of him still didn't want to carry this out. He questions how his ancestors would have been able to kill in the past. He wonders if their hatred was just stronger than his. He said that he would have wanted racial unification, but says that he can't ask for that due to the different races being different in the brain, something that he admitted to seeing in a 4chan meme earlier on Discord. The 25th of March was a very strange, dark night for Peyton. It all started when his beloved cat, Paige, was being attacked by a stray gray cat. Hearing her scream from the garage, he went out to see what was happening. He pulled out a knife and chased the cat around the garage for 30 minutes before stabbing it. He grabbed the cat by the tail and hit it on the concrete a few times. He then used a hatchet to remove its head. His mom, hearing about this, didn't seem all too concerned, just handing him a box and telling him to bury it. Before he did, he posted a picture of that cat in a shallow grave, proving what he said was true. Peyton said that he should have felt some sort of remorse, but he was surprised that he didn't. Instead, he said that he only felt blank. He simply continued writing his manifesto. However, it wasn't too long before he began to feel like a failure in all that he was doing. On the 28th, he wrote, "I tried, guys, I really did. I'm sorry I'm so lazy and wrong all the time. I want to do the best, but it just never works. I'm sorry for being such a retard and autist all the time. And now I'm going to face the consequences of staying up too late. I'm sorry, everyone. I could have kept on dieting and exercising and staying away from my phone and computer. I could have actually got a job and made some more money to fund this. I'm sorry, everyone. I have lots of problems that I'm just too lazy to solve. I wish I had just accepted the lie that everything is fine and lived a happy-ish life instead of dying early. I could have done so much better. I'm sorry for being such a failure. A few days before the attack, I was at State Lands and my gun wasn't working, and I had this huge urge just to end it all and end myself. I just don't want to deal with all the struggles anymore, but I decided I might as well live one more day and walk back down to my car. I wish there was an option where I don't have to do this. I don't think I've said this, but ending it all is all I can think about for the last few days. Every moment I'm conscious, I want to end myself. I don't want to deal with this anymore." The next day, he continued by expressing even more doubts. He felt his emotion was holding him back from carrying out his mission. He added, "I think you'd actually have to be a bit crazy to commit an attack like this. You'd be completely betraying your body's need for self-preservation. I keep telling myself that one of these days I'm going to kill people over and over again, and when it happens, I guess I'll be less surprised. I also keep telling myself that I'm not actually important and that everything involving me is so minuscule. Billions of people have died before me. What's one more?" It was now March 30th, and Peyton had missed the date that he originally planned for the attack. While he had felt like a failure over the previous few days, he decided to go out and have some fun. He went over to Matt's house, playing a knockoff version of the game Cards Against Humanity. However, his difficulties with interacting with normal people led him to having a rough time. He said, "I knew when he pulled it out and asked me to play it, it was gonna suck. 1, I know nothing of popular culture. There was a bunch of cards I had to ask what they mean. 2, I'm really bad at talking out loud, so I always stutter and lazily say words, which embarrasses me quite a bit. And 3, the cards I pick are never funny to the other people. I wish there was a way I could avoid all attention from this attack, but if I want to influence others into doing the same thing, that's not possible." Throughout early April, Peyton continued to regret his choice in carrying out the attack. He still felt as if he had no choice in the matter. He felt that his destiny was this from the beginning, and it was a destiny he did not want. On the 4th, he wrote, "I was fucked from the very beginning. I never even had a chance. This is my destiny, and this is how I will die, and I have no other choice but to commit this attack. There is no way to back out, no help out there. I would try to seek God in these few days to give me some comfort. I'm quite disappointed that I made it this far, to be honest." He decided that he would carry out his attack on the 8th, saying on the 7th that he would carry it out the next day. However, that attack didn't happen. On April 11th, he once again rescheduled it for the 15th. Still no, that wouldn't happen. Regardless, he continued to express how much he really didn't want to do it. I feel absolutely horrible that I'm not attending college. All my life I looked up to this moment, and now I am actively stepping away from it. I never wanted to be a terrorist or kill or hurt anyone. If there was another way, I would take it in less than a heartbeat. I hate that we can't solve this democratically and with peace, but that's not going to solve anything. The last few days of my life is here. I've had quite an interesting experience, I would say. Promise me you'll remember this. An unfulfilled life is a wasted life. I've never had that much fun in my life, to be honest, and now that it's the end times, I am regretting it. I wish a lot of things turned out differently so I didn't have to do this attack. I'm sorry to everyone that cares or cared about me. I don't want to die, I want to live a happily fulfilled life. But that will not happen if the whites are replaced and the super elite control the world. While writing those last few entries, Peyton had been complaining that he felt low on energy and overly tired. After going to the doctor, he found out that he had contracted COVID, one of his worst fears. Throughout the rest of the Discord chat, he would complain about vaccines and Biden due to this. Now, lying in bed with COVID and nothing else to do, he had nothing but time. He used this time to further stew in his misery. However, it was because of that he came to realize something, saying, "I'll admit my mental health has seriously degraded these past few years, especially in the last few months." Despite that, he didn't seek out some sort of mental health professional or reconsider whether or not what he was doing was logical. Instead, he pressed forward, still fully in belief that he had no choice but to carry the attack out. He began to write all over his guns in white, something that Brenton had also done. He wrote many of the names in his previous inspiration list all over them. Along with that, he also wrote a lot of online slang relevant to his ideology. On the sights for one of the guns, he wrote the N-word. Peyton was gradually losing his mind. On April 28th and 29th, he did nothing but post to his Discord all day. Most of the posts were obsessive comments about his gear, mainly the armor plates. It seemed that he also may have planned to use his mom's phone to livestream alongside his own, seemingly to play music, with him stressing out that she might alert someone when she knows it's missing. He had hoped that listening to music would help him remain strong during the boring parts of the trip, which would be about a 3-hour drive. He said that he was moving his gear out to his car and about to publish his manifesto. He wrote a small letter to his family and a TLDR of the whole Discord. However, his post didn't end there. He kept on writing new entries after, where he continues to express his anxieties moving forward. He wrote, "I actually feel like vomiting right now. This is what I will be doing. I forced myself into this. And now I have no escape. Well, besides ending it, of course. I've mentioned the problem with that before. God, I wish there was some other way. Why am I sent to do this? I'm not strong or brave or courageous. Why me, God? Why have you set my path like this? Or is this just a result of my free will?" He continued to post memes as well, although this time it was less racial and attacked some targets he didn't normally go after. He posted some against the Red Pill movement and incels. He posted some others making fun of right-wing politics and conservatives. He continued to rant about his problems, such as spending hundreds of dollars on gas to go to school and write so that his parents don't know he's skipping class. He says that he should have exercised more, lamenting that he's still too fat for the mission, likely disappointed that he didn't follow Dylan Roof's advice very well. He then said he should have made more money to get more ammo and training. He added that he was, quote, retarded and autistic for this.
It's like, how you autistic enough to know you too autistic to go through with this plan? It's like, gee, no, you sound like you there, bro. You sound like you know you not smart enough to actually go through with this, and you just trying to blame it on something like autism, bro. Nah, G, that ain't it. That's not it. Not at all.
On May 12th, Peyton uploaded his manifesto to Google Docs. He knew he would be linking it to people fairly soon after. The manifesto starts with the same logo that Brenton had used both in his manifesto and on his gear. He opens by speaking of birth rates and the Great Replacement. He posts a short bio of himself along with a selfie that he claims to be his, once again jokingly using the same picture of Sam Hyde that always gets passed around after a shooting. When it comes to his motivations, he lists several that were made fairly clear in the Discord logs. To show he won't give up his land, to intimidate foreigners against immigration, to intimidate current non-white Americans into leaving, to agitate his political enemies, to incite more other people into committing similar sorts of violence, to create an atmosphere of fear to incite change, to further polarize Western society, and to show other white people his philosophy. He adds that he is not a part of any sort of group and that he worked alone. He says that he chose to use guns due to the effect it would have on social discourse, saying that the changes to gun laws that will likely result will be an aid to his cause. He says that he chose the location of the attack because of its high black population. He then adds that he chose New York as the state due to the fact that they have stricter gun laws, feeling that this will mean any armed civilian will have less firepower against him. He expresses that he will likely feel remorse before saying that he doesn't hate black people, only black people who reside in white countries. He then adds that other cultures are great as long as they are separate. He says that he will not fight back with the police, that he expects to go to trial, and that he will plead guilty. He also says that he isn't a Christian, but holds what you could call Christian values. He says that he could be right-wing, left-wing, or socialist, depending on how you define those things. He then speaks of exactly how much Brenton Tarrant influenced him, writing, "Yes, and his name is Brenton Harrison Tarrant. Brenton's livestream started everything you see here. Brenton started my real research into the problems with immigration and foreigners in our white lands. Without his livestream, I would likely have no idea about the real problems the West is facing." He then adds that the truth was the only thing that motivated him to commit violence. He says that he wishes to get life in prison, wanting to see how the world will play out, to see if he was a failure or will be hailed as a hero. He continues to post a lot of calls for action for his possible supporters, reiterating his same point.
Chat, is he gonna make it out? Is he gonna make it out of this? Is he gonna actually see his day in court or not? You think he gonna meet a fatal ending, or do you think he's gonna see his day in court? Let me know.
Points on racial issues over and over again. He then lists out his weaponry, his plans for an attack, and his strategies moving forward. The manifesto unceremoniously ends without much of a send-off as Peyton describes one of his guns. On May 13th, it's believed that Peyton once again made his way out to Buffalo in order to plan for his attack. The manager of the store later said that he dressed as a homeless person asking for change as he walked around the store, checking things out. That evening, he went to his friend's house and dropped off 5 boxes of ammunition. He said that he needed to leave it there while he rearranged his furniture. He said that he would come back and pick it up later. On Saturday, May 14th, 2022, Peyton spent the morning sitting in his bedroom. He was now ready to send out the links to his Discord server, which had previously been locked down. He sent a link to the Discord, as well as to his manifesto, out to a number of other people who had been in servers that he had joined. He started the message with, "Happening. This is not a drill. Local Poltard screams, 'I hate the Antichrist' out in public. Not a drill, not a drill. Shut it down. He's literally screaming it out in public. What will he do next?" He then posted a link to his Twitch channel, which would host his planned livestream. He then posted a large number of links to what he called his ramblings about black people and Jews. The message ended with, "He's actually going crazy insane." About 15 of the people who he sent the link to actually joined the invite to his Discord, with many more ignoring the whole thing. Many of them were from a weapons-related server that he had joined and asked for advice about body armor, very similarly to what he had asked on Reddit. At roughly 10 a.m., Peyton packed his gear into his car and began his journey out to Buffalo. In the end, he had chosen his target to be a top supermarket on Jefferson Avenue, given that it was in a black-majority neighborhood. He put on his helmet with his
I know
GoPro
who this is
attached.
now. I know who this is now, chat. Holy, oh my god, what the? Yo, okay. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. I've been following this whole time, and it seemed like a little bit familiar, but I wasn't quite sure. Like, chat, this is that guy that. Oh my god, bro! He went to Buffalo and did this to this grocery store. Oh my god!
As well as his vest and armor plates. In his car, he carried his Bushmaster XM15,
I remember
which he
hearing
had
about
illegally
this, bro.
modified to take high-capacity magazines, a Savage Arms Axis XP hunting rifle, and the Mossberg 500 shotgun. With him, he carried multiple extra 30-round magazines. Peyton continued to drive for about 3 hours towards his target. As he grew closer to his target location, he stopped his car in order to begin his live stream. The stream was a bit of a disaster, with the connection seeming to be the biggest issue. The video quality was quite bad, cutting in and out often, aside from the occasional brief few seconds of clarity. As he grew closer to the supermarket, he realized that he had gotten a bit lost and missed the turn he was supposed to have taken. He turned his car around and stopped on the side of the road to look up directions. It was here that he would make a critical mistake that would instantly ruin any hope that he might have had of looking cool in his attack. When Peyton brought out his phone, he had forgotten to close his last open tab. This revealed what he had been looking at before the attack, some furry erotica. Internet detectives were quick to analyze this image and found that the piece of art he was looking at was some furry hentai of a dog. This dog was Martha, the Labrador from the Martha Speaks children's show on PBS. Although portrayed as a normal-looking dog in the cartoon, let's just say that this one was much more endowed. Either undeterred by the slip or assuming that his phone wouldn't be visible to the camera on his helmet, Peyton continued. He took a drink from his water bottle, threw it into the back seat, took a deep breath, and hit the accelerator. Eventually, he arrived at the supermarket and parked in one of the spots furthest from the store. He muttered something that sounded like, "Just gotta go for it, right?" before reversing and looking for a different spot. Stopping briefly to look at the store, it seemed as if he hesitated, wondering if he should just turn back. Instead, he continued on, muttering, "Right here, I'm going in." It was now 2:30 p.m. Peyton parked his car in front of the entrance to the store. He got out of the car and quickly pulled up his gun, aiming it at a woman who was walking next to her car in front of the store while another was loading groceries into the trunk. The woman didn't seem to feel that Peyton was actually a shooter, barely even reacting to him. Others later said that Peyton appeared to be in the military, which is likely why they didn't think much of it. He proceeded to shoot her in the head. He fired a few more bullets into her as she crashed to the ground face first, shooting the man by the trunk as well in the process. Peyton then swung his gun around and aimed it towards the entrance to the store, shooting 2 more people before once more shooting at the man behind the trunk of the previous car. He then shot into the store's windows, although it's unknown if this was because he was aiming at someone inside. At this point, he had killed 3 people and seriously injured 1 more. On his way into the store, he shot a man who had previously collapsed in the doorway a few more times. Coming inside, he frantically looked left and right, trying to find anyone in the store, as people could be heard screaming in the background. He spotted 2 people on his left and fired at them immediately, hitting them both. He got into a corner to reload his gun, then fired a few more times into one of them as they were on the ground. He then continued down his path. The camera feed cut in and out as Peyton approached another person against the wall to his left. This is argued to have been an armed security guard, Aaron Salter Jr., who approached Peyton and shot at him. Due to the armor plates he had brought, the bullet didn't faze him. It's likely that Peyton thought the man was the same sort of armed civilian that he was afraid of. He returned fire, hitting the man and killing him. After shooting him, Peyton looked to his right. On the floor, between 2 checkout lanes, was a man hiding. A white man. This man screamed, saying, "Help, no." Peyton looked down at him, said, "Sorry," and started walking back towards the entrance. It was at that point that Twitch, having received a report, shut down the stream. By now, roughly only 1 minute had passed. It was around the time that the stream cut out that the police received their first reports of an active shooter. They sped out to the scene, arriving about 1 minute later. In that time, though, Peyton hadn't stopped. In addition to the 3 people inside the store who had already been shot, Peyton continued to shoot 5 more. The police, upon arrival, saw all of the people that had fallen in front of the store. A dispatcher started to call on more officers, telling them the situation at hand. Meanwhile, Peyton was still inside, and so were many more people hiding. Peyton continued making his way around the store, yelling out slurs as he continued to terrorize the people inside. Several employees made their way to the break room and barricaded the doors with a large, heavy desk. Some of the customers opened the glass doors to where the milk was held and made their way to the back of the store through there. Some of them were shot in the process, but luckily all of the milk blocked the bullets, according to the statements they made. At 2:36, Peyton made his way back to the entrance on his own. Seeing all of the officers outside, he pulled his rifle back up and aimed it at his own neck. The police were able to talk him down, resulting in Peyton dropping the gun and giving up. They arrested him there in front of the store as onlookers watched and recorded in horror. The police took Peyton to the Buffalo Police headquarters very quickly. They reached out to his parents as well, who soon came to be interviewed by FBI agents. In the end, Peyton had fired 60 shots. He had hit 13 people, 11 of which were black and 2 of which were white. 7 of them were employees in the store. In the end, 10 of them had passed away. All of the 10 who passed away...
Why she got a backwoods shirt on, G? Come on, bro. Come on.
were black. Those who didn't survive...
Yeah, I didn't know it was this guy either. But like, yeah, I remember hearing about this a couple years ago.
The attack were 55-year-old Aaron Salter Jr., 65-year-old Celestine Cheney, 32-year-old Roberta A. Drury, 53-year-old Andre McNeil, 72-year-old Catherine Massey, 52-year-old Margus D. Morrison, 67-year-old Hayward Patterson, 62-year-old Geraldine Talley, 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield, and 77-year-old Pearl Young. The Erie County Sheriff, a man named John Garcia, called the shooting a straight-up racially motivated hate crime from somebody outside of our community. Stephen Bologna, the head of the local FBI branch, said,
"Hey, he got one of those Grinch Who Stole Christmas noses. Holy cow."
to reporters that they would be investigating the case as both a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. The police came to know that, if Peyton hadn't been captured, he fully planned on continuing his attack elsewhere until he came to be caught or killed.
What a fucking coward, bro. What a coward, man. That's so whack. I'm sorry.
That night, Peyton was taken to court, dressed in an all-white garb, where he pled not guilty, going against what he had said in his manifesto. Due to something he said, he was placed on suicide watch in the jail under constant tight surveillance. The morning after, many people from around town gathered around the top supermarket in order to hold a vigil in honor of the victims. It had been organized by some members of the Buffalo Peacemakers and the Stop the Violence Coalition. While traffic had been blocked off and the store itself was closed for the investigation, people still turned up. 100 people gathered around as early as 9 a.m. to pay their respects, leaving flowers and candles along the way. Dominique Calhoun had been in the parking lot of the store when she saw the attack break out. She had brought her 2 daughters there to get some ice cream, but luckily she was still in her car when the first shot rang out. She said, "That literally could have been me. I'm just in shock. I've never had something like this happen so close to home." Twitch begrudgingly confirmed that it was indeed their platform that had been used to stream the shooting. They tried to calm those who were concerned, saying that they would prohibit and monitor any re-uploads of the stream that might occur. However, the live stream had already been recorded and uploaded to a different site, getting a whopping 3 million views in one single day. This led to a lot of discussion about Twitch's liability in the crime, especially now that it's known that they tend to harbor extremists and even support them from time to time.
What does that even mean? No, that's not fair. Twitch isn't harboring anyone. This is a lone individual that acted on his own. He had a Twitch account, and this is what he decided to do with it. Once Twitch found out about it, they ended him. I don't understand how Don't get me wrong, man. Twitch be on some other stuff every now and then, but like, I don't think they did. I don't think they had fault.
The livestream itself quickly spread to other sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. Once Discord learned about the chat's involvement in all of this, they shut it down pretty quickly. The police reached out to Peyton's parents, who agreed to cooperate fully. The police believed that they had nothing at all to do with the attack. The owner of the gun store where Peyton bought his weapons said that he didn't even remember him at all after all these months, given that the exchange was very uneventful. He said, "I just can't believe it. I don't know why an 18-year-old would even do this. I know I didn't do anything wrong, but I feel terrible about it."
I get it.
It was found that a 911 operator in the area had possibly delayed the police response time. When the assistant manager of the store called 911 to report the shooting, they spoke in a whisper so that Peyton wouldn't find their location. This 911 operator got annoyed with the employee, yelling and cursing at them for whispering and hanging up on them. This operator was fired. The attorney of one of the victims' families, Benjamin Crump, said that there need to be new public policies that will fight against political radicalization on the internet, especially what might come as a result of this shooting. He said, "We have to direct our attention to these internet sites that inspire these young people that are radicalizing them to be hate mongers, to be people who hate people because of the color of their skin." Peyton was soon to be hit with federal charges in addition to all of the state charges he had received. What he had done was being treated as both a hate crime and an act of terrorism. A felony hearing was set for May 19th. He was to be held without bail. On June 1st, the jury issued a 21-page indictment against him. In it, he ended up with 1 count of domestic terrorism motivated by hate, 10 of first-degree murder as a hate crime, 10 of second-degree murder as a hate crime, 3 of attempted second-degree murder as a hate crime, and 1 of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon. Peyton pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. However, a big development took place months later. This was when his lawyer said that he was willing to plead guilty in order to avoid the death penalty. This indeed lined up with his wishes to plead guilty and go to prison to watch the world play out like he stated in his manifesto. On November 16th, Peyton agreed to plead guilty to all the charges, the state ones at least. This made the trial very easy to conclude. By the time February came around, Peyton was in court for his sentencing. That day in court, one of the family members of the victims lunged towards him, leading to the both of them being removed from the courtroom. When things picked up again, Peyton did deliver a small apology, although it was very brief and didn't include much detail. Many felt that it was pretty hollow.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black. Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did.
On February 15th of 2023, Peyton was denied status as a youthful offender. It would have been a long shot already, as he was 18 years old. Instead, he was hit with the full adult sentence. He was given 11 life sentences without the possibility of parole plus a...
Why you over here crying, bro? What you crying for? Get up! For real, bro. Suck them tears up. You know what you did.
Another 90 years. He was transferred to the Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, New York. For about a year, that's where he remained. There was still something looming on the horizon, though, that being his federal charges. In January of 2024, the feds announced that they would be seeking the death penalty on their side of the case. They said that this was due to his beliefs and the substantial planning and premeditation that went into the attack. We'll just have to see where that trial goes, as it isn't even set to start until August of 2026. On May 14th, 2024, the Tops Supermarket dedicated a corner of the lot to a memorial called the 514 Honor Space. It contains a sculpture called Unity, designed
a corner of the lot. Ain't that some bullshit? They finna just go on with business like nothing even happened.
By a local artist named Valeria Cray and her son Hiram. There are also 10 plaques each honoring one of the victims. A much larger memorial is also planned, although the site of where it will be hasn't been decided upon yet. That one seems like it will be more along the lines of a small event center. In response to this attack, and to the Robb Elementary School shooting in Texas that occurred shortly after, the New York State Legislature passed down some new laws. These new laws ban semi-automatic weapon sales to anyone under 21, as well as certain kinds of armor similar to what Peyton wore. In reality, this probably won't stop much. Just as Peyton did, one of them could simply cross the border to another state, buy it there, and bring it back home. As of the writing of this video, Peyton still remains in jail. He's remembered as little more than an obsessed follower, a 4chan degenerate, and a furry porn enthusiast.
Bro, that's insane, bro. WVids.
Once again, thank you for watching.
WVids. Oh my god. I was trying to figure out where the story was actually taking, but yeah. Holy cow! I didn't realize that was that guy. Well, yeah, there you have it. That was the stream today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, if you looking on YouTube, thank you. Drop a like and a subscribe. If you watching on, oh my god, what's this vibrating? If you watching on Twitch, hey, drop a subscribe. It's only $7. Holla at your boy. I'll see you tomorrow. Like I said, it's your boy Max Truman in the Fungal Jungle. We out, baby. All right. Nah, that's not what we're going out to. That's not what we're going out to.
Yes, sir. I just little bitch in from Manchester. They took me to jail, I should have smacked the rester. Hop out the car flexing like Sylvester.
Hey, hey.
No, yes, sir. No bitches put up in an I-8 roaster. Sure, cost too much, told that bitch no, sir. Ain't no fucking crying on my fucking shoulder. $100 steak and I don't like the